Hello friends, my name is Julia. My pronouns are they and them. This is the channel known as Julicious's channel. I am going to, within the next couple of videos, be changing this channel's name to Knitney Knits to reflect my design business, which is Knitney Knits and Needlework. And I just kind of want a bit more flow because I share designs here and my business Instagram and Ko-fi, and I just thought having the trifecta with the same name would be helpful. So this is a channel primarily about cross stitch and knitting. I also talk about books. I also talk about things that I care about, like ending the genocide in Palestine. And also releasing the Israeli hostages held by Hamas. As a Jew, I always find it I have been finding it kind of strange when we say free Palestine. We say stop killing Palestinian children. Please stop killing Palestinian children. Supporters of Israel will say, like, well, what about the hostages? And what about dead Israelis? Like, we don't like that either. Like, saying free Palestine, ceasefire, stop the genocide, does not say hooray for dead Israelis. That is not a truth. That is not what anyone is saying. Like, as an American Jew who has never been to Israel, nor do I ever plan to ever visit Israel, because I generally avoid, aside from the colonizer country I live in, I like to try to avoid them. So there are two truths that we can hold equally, and one of these is that Hamas and the Israeli government are terrible and need to be gone. And civilian casualties are never okay. Like, these are two, like, there's no, one doesn't hold more weight than the other. These are two truths. And if we just come together to stop the killing, that, like, it's not hard. It's not hard. Pesach, Passover, ends in about 3 hours. Pesach is about liberation, and I was really hoping that maybe there would be liberation during this Pesach. There has not. Am I surprised? Not really. I don't believe in God. That's not, you're going to find some atheism on this channel, and that's okay. You are welcome to practice your religion however you want. I fully support that, and I will fight for that. Please extend me the same courtesy. What was I saying? Anyway, am I surprised that there wasn't a Passover miracle? I am not. Miracles come from humans. That's why we're here. I need a segue because this really has gotten off the rails fast. Do you want to help? Do you want to do something to help people? The Stitchers Collective, you have about 5 hours, less by the time I get this video uploaded, to go to visit the link in my profile or the link on the Stitchers Collective Instagram. A group of 19 designers, myself included, designed some cross-stitch patterns because we're trying to help, and we are raising money to give to Doctors Without Borders, which is one of my favorite charities of all time. And for $10, you can get 21 patterns. That's less than 20 cents a pattern. You have to do it now. And honestly, if it is May 1st, by the time you're watching this, I'm sorry, you missed out. I'm sure some people will be releasing their designs next year. This is my design. It is called Save the World. The quote, "One who saves a single life saves the world entire," is from the Talmud, which is a Jewish holy text of just meditations and commentary and liturgy by rabbis over the centuries. In Schindler's List, towards the end, one of the characters quotes this. So it is a Quaker style design. I chose to set this up, the words in particular, to kind of echo Doctors Without Borders colors and logo. I stitched this on a 40 count platinum linen by Zweigart. You do not have to stitch this on 40 count linen. There are no fractionals. You can stitch this on whatever fabric you like. There is a DMC conversion in my pattern. I have charted this using Stitchy Box Flower Silk. Now, if you love this pattern and you missed out on it, I will be releasing this again, but only temporarily and very briefly, because this is always going to be a Knitney Knits and Needlework charity pattern. Anytime I feel that Doctors Without Borders needs a little extra love, I will bring this pattern out of the vault. It's probably not going to be for 50 cents, but you'll have the opportunity. Okay? So, yeah, if you donated and got your patterns, wonderful. Thank you. I hope you love them. There's some good stuff in there, folks. There's some good stuff. There's some Lola Crow in there. Witch's Garden Crafts, Sprouting Lupine. There's good stuff. 4 Boys and an NL Girl. You want the pattern bundle. You really do. Okay. You know, I had started off saying that this is a channel about cross stitch and knitting and things that I care about, and started talking about things that I care about. That's an interesting segue. Anyway, yeah, I talk about books too. I'm not going to be talking about books this evening because I'm trying to be quick, and also because one of the books that I am reading is currently propping up my phone. So next time. All right, I talked to you about important stuff. Let's talk about some WIP updates. I only have 3. Life has been lifing. I haven't had a whole lot of time to get a whole lot of things done. I think it was February the last time I was here. It is now almost May. So we're just taking it as it comes. So in no particular order, Minnie Deer Creek. Who's the artist? I forget the artist. I should have. Is it Donna Gelsinger? Maybe Donna Gelsinger. Don't quote me on that. This is charted by cross stitch charting company that I no longer support. I own 2 charts by them. I'm going to stitch those charts, and because I love the art and because I already bought them, but I will not be supporting that full coverage designer any longer. I'm just reaching back to get a board so I can put behind. This is Minnie Deer Creek that I am stitching 2/1 tent stitch on 28 count Monaco. I'm stitching this Extreme Cross Country. I'm starting with black. And I think the last time you saw it, I had really only, I had done the deer's noses and a little bits in here. So that's like, this is full coverage February progress. What else is a whip? Here we go. It's a shame that this is a whip because it's just a little guy. Quirky Quaker number 2, the hedgehog. I am stitching this with a Color and Cotton tonal variegated floss that I forgot. I'm sorry. The next time you see this, this will be so good. It'll be just like old times, but hazelnut maybe? No. It's beautiful. I love how this is stitching up. This is a Color and Cotton on a random piece of 32 count linen. Loving that. And then the last is Tea Time Companion by Ingleside Imaginarium. Of course, I left the pattern and the photo of what it will look like when it's done in the other room because I was in a hurry. I got a decent amount of progress on this. Unfortunately, there's a mistake somewhere and I really don't want to frog a whole lot, but I might have to. So I kind of put this down out of frustration. So this is stitched with the Called For Treenway Silks, and I am stitching it on a piece of limited edition 32 count linen that was in the very first ever Halloween box from Color and Cotton. 5-6 years old now. This should be finished. But you know how it is when you realize that there's a mistake in there somewhere and it's frustrating. Okay, so that's whips done. Let's talk new starts. I have had 3 and I need to slow down. So the first one had been planned for over a year. I will link it down below. Our dear Abby Bella Stitch designed an alphabet sampler, a sampler of the Filipino alphabet, showing all the evolution of it from the original indigenous alphabet through the pre-colonial, colonial, post-colonial. It's beautiful. And I was all set to give it like full steam ahead, a solid month in March for Stitch Asia. And I got this. As you can see, it's almost done. Life and school is what happened. So this is a piece of 40 count wood smoke from Tabby Cat, and I am using Vicki Clayton HDF in Gandhi Tango. I have 3 of these spools. I hope it's enough. Abby said that she could bail me out if I run into trouble. Hi, kiddo. I love you too. Believe it or not, there was a child just that way. So yeah, I was really hoping to get more progress on that than I did. But hey, it started. Better than nothing, right? And then, now when I'm trying to remember which one of these I started first. I'm just going to show the one that I have out right here. For Trans Day of Visibility, as a trans person, I was having a hard time. So I decided to have a Trans Day of Visibility start. And I'm stitching a pattern designed by a trans person, stitching on fabric that was dyed by a trans person. So this is from this year's February Burb box from Mislaid Pages, Jessie at Mislaid Pages. This is Swan Song. The artwork was originally, I think it was a digital art by Uncanny Kari, and charted by Your Stitch Dad and Mine, D's 20 Stitches, for Jessie's Burb box, using some glorious Dinky Dyes silks. I am stitching this on 40 count because when I got the Burb box, I chose 40 count because I'm slightly obsessed. Look at the palette. Look at the palette. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Trying to get all of them. So last fall, Michelle Bendy said, because everyone's got a box, right? It feels like everyone releases a box. And they're not cheap, right? Michelle Bendy said, if you have to get one box, if you can afford one box, like, do not sleep on the 2024 February Burb box. And for the most part, I do what Michelle Bendy tells me when she has little nuggets of insight like that. So my one box in 2024 was Mislaid Pages February Burb box. No regrets. Zero. No regrets. Do it. Do it. I love everything. I don't even mind, like, I don't even mind that the needle minder's pink. Like, you know how I feel about pink. I don't like it. Like, do it. Do it. Anyway, this is stitched on Thrive by Mislaid Pages. And I got a decent amount done. Oh, and the needle marker, the needle minder is a present from Helen, the Ditty Stitcher. Where are my 80s babies at? I love that movie. Disney's Robin Hood is part of what radicalized me as a child. Between the sheriff stealing the little boy's birthday present for taxes, and I was very fond of Friar Tuck because he reminded me of my grandparents' rabbi at the time. He was a large, jolly fellow. And seeing Friar Tuck clamped in irons and dragged out into the rain had quite the impression on little Julia. So, but yeah, thank you, Helen. So yeah, this it's not very big. It's 90, okay, it's 90 by 83. So maybe I just feel like because I'm stitching it on 40 count, it's not very big, but I really wanted something I could finish quickly. And this was not it, but that's okay. No regrets. Also, if you get the 40 count, look how much of this I got. Oh my God, it's so good. Like, this does not look like a me fabric at all, but it is so good. And there's another, I got, you know, you get 2 pieces of fabric. The other one is a very lovely green. So I almost want to design on this, but I don't think I can. I don't know if it's in Jessie's regular line, but that's okay. I have enough to do. Julia, you have enough to do. Your dance card, creativity-wise, is full right now. Full. So, unfortunately, that's something you can, what I just showed you is something you can only get in on if you've got the 2024 Burb box, although next year there will be extras available, I'm sure. This next thing I'm about to show you, you absolutely can still get in on. Fine Frog Stitching, who I was unfamiliar with until I joined the Stitchers Collective, has a stitch along going right now, and it's only going on for a few months. It's not very big. It is called the Femurs and Fungi Sal. So bones and mushrooms. Say less. Say less. She partnered with Witch's Garden Crafts, who also dyes fabric, and they developed a really beautiful purple. If you're so inclined, I happen to have a 32 count kind of purple in my stash from Color and Cotton. Anyway, check it out. So that's going to be a cat skull. That was released on this past Friday. So it's a gallery wall that's just gonna have macabre and fungal goodies. So you've got some shelves. There's gonna be another shelf here-ish. A bunch of picture frames that I'm still working on. I had a feeling that this was gonna be the first frame to fill up, so I started in the middle and then hop, skip, jumped my way up. Did this frame and have been kind of working my way down, which I will continue to do after I finish that skull. It's so good, right? So I will put a link below if you're interested. The camera is showing this a lot grayer than it is. It is a gray purple, but it is more purple than, I'm gonna see if I can, yeah, I don't think I can get, that's closer, but no cigar. Anyway, this is Salem by Color and Cotton. And this is all stitched in DMC. So the Femurs and Fungi Sal. It was reasonably priced. It's reasonably sized. I feel like I can keep up with it this year, so that's what we're doing. All right. I showed you Alpapetong Filipino. I showed you Swan Song, and I showed you Femurs and Fungi. Just a few more things. It's late. It's like 20 to 8 in the evening on a Tuesday. This isn't normally when I film, and I'm scrambling. Just a quick little random aside. Stitchy Box started carrying DMC's new line of wool called Eco Vita. And I was curious, so I just bought a handful of them in very Julia colors. So I just wanted to see how they were and if there would be something. I am planning a design with them. So it's a 2-ply thread, but you don't separate them. You stitch it like just from the hank, just from the skein, just from however you store your thread, be it on bobbins or floss straps. So again, it's a 2-ply, but you don't separate it. You just stitch like this. It's wool. For those of you who are familiar with wool, it doesn't have much of a halo on it at all. It has a nice woolly feeling. It smells, if you close your eyes, you can kind of smell lanolin, but I believe these are naturally dyed. I have not actually stitched with these yet. This is the black. It's got a little bit of heathering to it, but I'm not mad at it. And you should note that these colors do not match up with the regular line. So this black is 005, whereas as opposed to 310. So don't rely on the number to give you an idea of what the color is. I have not stitched with them yet. I'm looking forward to it. I think those of us who generally like a higher count fabric are going to have to scale down a little bit, because I don't foresee this going well on 40 count and above. But then again, I'm not your mom. Give it a try if you want. And let's talk about the ink circles round robin, shall we? Let's. My package with the Hamsa mandala got lost. It's gone. Off in the ether. If I think about it too hard, I get really, really sad. I had written a lovely note. Well, I thought it was, I had written from my heart to my friends, just because I felt like the Hamsa is a symbol of protection, and I thought it was going to be so meaningful to have something in my symbol of protection in my home that had like the stitching energy and love of 4-stitchers, like protection 4-stitchers strong. And I thought that was really beautiful, and now it's gone. But life is all about impermanence, eh? So Nati's package arrived at my home safe and sound. She's stitching the Elemental Dragons series, and for the round robin, she chose to send Earth. Sorry about that. And my group is the 40 count group. I'm not sure what this fabric's called. It's a Verdal or Verdal. And so originally it's monochromatic. She has chosen these 2 colors of DMC that I think go beautifully together. 3799 and 3841 on this beautiful turquoise fabric. I have not, like, this is all knitty. I have not picked this up yet. Isn't that beautiful? This is going to be so great. I have to write a note. She makes her crosses in the opposite direction I do, so I'm going to need to rotate the fabric 90 degrees before I start stitching so that it looks right. Yeah, so good. And not to embarrass Nati or anything, her backside is really neat. Ooh, I gotta take extra time and attention. That looks really good. So, yeah, so if you're in the round robin and you're watching, please, 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 by the way, send tracking information to the person you're sending to. And also, if someone in your round robin group reaches out to you, please get back to them. We're currently having a little issue with some miscommunication or lack of communication, and it's not so much fun. Okay, almost done, I promise. Knitting. I actually have something to show you. I have a couple of somethings. I have a swatch. Yeah, I'm showing this to you because by the time this design is released, you will have forgotten it. I am currently knitting a baby sweater. There are no babies in my future that I know of. I am not expecting a baby. I don't know anyone who is expecting a baby. However, I am going to be teaching a class this summer, an Elizabeth Zimmerman class. For those of you who know, Elizabeth Zimmerman was a pioneer in knitting and in knitwear design. Her patterns are they're very conversational, and they take a bit of deciphering. So having some, I saw a need, and I asked the owner of one of my local yarn shops, would there be any interest, do you think, in Elizabeth Zimmerman? And she got all excited. And I said, well, how about I'll start with a baby surprise jacket, because everyone needs a baby jacket, like a baby sweater. Summertime's fine to do it. I was originally going to be teaching a class of my cowl design, the Pine Barrens cowl. Because of scheduling, we just couldn't make it happen earlier this year, so we're pushing that to like October, November. So if you're in the Philly area and you're interested in learning how to knit the Pine Barrens cowl from me later in the year. So this is the baby surprise jacket. I have never seen an ugly baby surprise jacket. It is a wonderful stash buster, or like I am knitting mine entirely out of leftover sock yarn. It's great for knitting up scraps. It's also great for if you have a skein of beautifully like variegated hand painted yarn you have no idea what to do with. Knit a baby surprise jacket out of it. It's gonna look great. So the baby surprise jacket is very interesting in that you knit it flat. You knit it in one piece, so it looks like that when you're done knitting. And then you fold it and sew two little seams, and it looks like that. It's like magic. Here is mine so far. As you can see, It does not look like much, but it's not supposed to look like much right now. Although, if I fold it, because I've knit enough, I've knit far enough that if I fold it like this, you can kind of see, where I'm going. I'm changing colors as and when the mood strikes me. I'm going to be bringing these two colors back into the mix shortly. So that is that. I'm doing some designing. Knitting design, I am finding, as much as I love it and as much as I feel like people like my knitting patterns more than they like my cross-stitch patterns, designing knitwear is so much more analytical and it's harder. Harder is not the right word. It's more analytical in that it takes a lot more skull sweat to figure things out, rather than, it's a lot more cerebral, whereas when you're designing a cross-stitch pattern, it's very visual. But that's neither here nor there. Things are going along. School's going okay. Spring is here in full swing. It's beautiful. There are lilacs. There are lily of the valley. The peonies, I think in another week and a half, the peonies are going to go from this to, and it's going to be wonderful. I don't have peonies in my yard, but on my daily morning walk route, there are peonies, and I am watching. Just one more thing. I had a giveaway in my last video because I happen to have 2 copies of Love Letter to the Cross Stitch Nation by Heartstring Samplery. This, and also I lied, I have one other thing to talk to you about, which is just to show you what I'm probably going to do for Stitch Mania, which is not much. Anyway, 2 copies, was going to give one away. Here's the thing. Only 2 people wanted the extra pattern. Mandy and the Rabbit Stitcher. And I thought, well, why don't I just give both of them away? One now, and the other one when I finish stitching this, right? So I had my daughter pick a number between 1 and 2. She picked 2, and that was Mandy. So Mandy, get with me. I'm going to send this to you. And then the Rabbit Stitcher, also get with me, and don't buy this because this is going to be on its way to you as soon as I finish it. Okay? So that's easy, right? Stitch Mania, real quick. So I have not been keeping up with WhipGo, surprising no one. I have not actually had that much time to stitch. So what I'm going to do for Stitch Mania, why did I bring up WhipGo? I brought up WhipGo because Starry Night Sampler finally for May came up on my WhipGo board. It's on there a couple of times for one for the trees, one for the vines and the flowers, and one for the name, because I'm having trouble with the 4-sided stitch. I can't seem to make mine look right, and I wonder if I'm just trying too hard. Anyway, this is mine, which is actually a tribute to Carl Sagan. So it has a Carl Sagan quote and his birth and death dates at the top. And then I'm going to chart his name in the middle. Anyway, I'm just going to work on, I'm going to try to, in May, aside from when I'm not working on ink circles, round robin stuff, and femurs and fungi style stuff, I'm going to be stitching on this. And I'm just going to see how much of this I can bang out in May. I don't know if I'll get a finish, but I want to see how far I can get. So that's the plan for May. In terms of when I'm coming back here again, I don't know. I would love to do it every 2 weeks or every month. I really don't know if that's feasible. The way my life is right now, I am considering for a couple of months doing a kind of vlog style FlossTube video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. That's all I have, folks. If you're watching this and it's still April 31st, I'm sorry, there is no April 31st. And if it's still April 30th and it's before midnight Central Time in the US and you haven't got your Doctors Without Borders charity bundle yet, do that. If it's May by the time you see this and you missed out, I'm sorry. You'll be able to get my chart at some point. And I can't speak for the other designers, but I'm sure you could reach out to them and see when they're planning to release theirs. So that's it. All right, everyone. Free Palestine. Take care of yourselves. Take care of other people if you are able to, in whatever capacity. Enjoy the weather wherever you are in the world, be it spring or autumn, and take good care, friends. I'll catch you around the internet.